feels like a huge milestone, actually, and something that I'm immensely proud of, and I know the team are as well, because we set the business up in 2007 with a really clear and strong ethical and social purpose. We wanted to be more than just a business, and that was demonstrated through our belief that we talk about even today, that businesses have the power to make a huge difference in the world around us. So yeah, it's an awesome experience and awesome time, to be honest with you. Yeah, well, there's actually about 5 or 6 areas in the standard, and the reason why we chose to go for B Corp was because it's hard, because it's not a tick box exercise, and we were measuring success in the business already based on 3 key features. 1, our long-term financial health. 2, whether we were a workplace where people thrived, and thirdly, the difference or the impact that we made in the world around us by how we conducted ourselves as a business. And we used all sorts of different things as proxies to evidence how well or not we were doing against those 3 success measures. And when we came across B Corp, we thought it was brilliant. For 1 reason, it's hard to do, and 2, it brings all of those things together in one place. So the different kind of criteria are around things like customers, your financial health, people and your workforce, your environmental impact, how you govern your business, and it's quite grueling from a point of view of the evidence that you need to collect. The actual doing what you need to do to get B Corp wasn't grueling for us, because much of it we were doing already, but actually pulling together hard evidence to demonstrate that we were really doing that, and it wasn't just a sales pitch or whatever else, was the tough bit. I think it's certainly the most comprehensive, because it covers the entire business and all of its features, not just what it does, but how we behave as a business, and practically how we deliver what we do and how we look after people and so on and so forth. So I think the way in which it's really comprehensive is quite different to any of the other standards. And we have things like ISO, Cyber Essentials Plus, etc. So the bit for me that was quite different, and I should say the B Corp team are great, because you can hook up with them, you can watch webinars on the kind of evidence that you need to provide or seek advice. But the bit that was hard was, we can say we're a great place to work and talk about the culture and the spirit of employee ownership and things like that, but we had to actually evidence it in fact, on paper, and it takes a lot of time pulling all that together. And the first stage is your own self-assessment, and that took us, I think, about 3 to 6 months. So because it's so expansive, the framework, it takes quite a long time to work through that. And I think in our first self-assessment, we scored around about the 130, 135 mark, which we felt really good about. And we scored strongly because of employee ownership as well, which was a great help. We'll maybe come on to that in a bit. But then you move into a stage where they effectively verify your self-assessment, and that's where it gets tough. That's where there's lots and lots of to and fro and questions being asked about the evidence, and they really drill into the evidence. They don't just take the piece of paper and go, oh, right, yeah, you've got one of those. They really question you on it and drill into it, and I think that's what makes it immensely credible, because it's difficult. You don't just get away with gilding the lily. Definitely, I mentioned it a moment ago, employee ownership is a really, really practical way in which we demonstrate that we're about more than just profit, and that we want everybody to benefit from what we do. So that helped us significantly. Also the fact, I think, that we are very customer focused in what we do. So we had quite strong evidence around how we position our customers and stakeholders at the heart of what we do. And then thirdly, I think one of the things that some of our customers really value from us, they place quite a lot of value on this feature, is that we've got a very strong approach to governance and how we run the business. So they get all the benefit of that kind of rigour and robustness of almost a big business with the entrepreneurial flair of a business of our size and kind of status. So that I think is reflected as well in the governance section in our scoring. But we have to be careful because with B Corp you only get to keep it if you demonstrate continuous improvement and progress. Standing still isn't an option. So we kind of need to, we might get hoisted by our own petard here in that we've started really high, but therefore we've got to come out when we get recertified next year with even better credentials in those areas. So that's the bit that's probably going to test us. Well, I guess in today's world, it's all about standing out, isn't it, from the crowd. It's how you're different, how you're unique, how you're special, how what you do is even more important. And I think at present time there's about 4,000 businesses who are in the B Corp movement globally, and there's some awesome brands in there. I'm sure people can just go away and Google. And in the UK it's about 800. So by the very nature of the statistics, if you like, the numbers, we immediately stand out. But it is recognised as a force for good. It's recognised as a hallmark or an accreditation that means you're a responsible business and you have a certain way of doing business and conducting yourselves that is ethical and thoughtful and mindful of other people and other things. And in that regard, I think it gives our customers and our broader stakeholders, whether they're people in our supply chain, etc., a level of confidence and comfort that what we say we do and who we are is actually the case, which is really powerful. Yeah, I do in a number of ways. I've talked a little bit there about, from a commercial perspective, the advantage that it presents or the opportunity that it presents. But there's a couple of other features. The framework that B Corp gives you to focus on and drive continuous improvement in your business in those three key areas, people, planet and profit, is brilliant. And I think we would have continued to do some great stuff. I don't think we would have gone backward, but I think it gives us much more impetus and energy around making sure that we're consistently driving forward in those three key areas and keeping our focus on those things, which I think is immensely valuable. And then the other thing that we're already experiencing, and it's been brilliant actually, is the B Corp movement is full of awesome businesses, some of which you've heard about, some of which you haven't heard about. And we've recently been through a couple of exercises to find some key partners in the business, some key suppliers. One around PR and marketing, and the other one around helping us to refit a building that we've just purchased for our new home in one of our offices in the northeast. And at the start of it, we weren't B Corp certified and we didn't know huge amounts about it. But it's become clear that the businesses that we've chosen are B Corp certified. And it became clear through the process that there was a natural affiliation in terms of how the businesses conducted themselves and what they committed to and so on and so forth. So I'm really looking forward to exploring that movement and that network much more to understand how we can learn from other businesses, but how we can work with other businesses that are like-minded, and that's what's dead exciting. I think what it does is it demonstrates how bold we are and how committed we are to being a business that it makes a difference and is driven by those three things in equal measure: people, profit and planet. So I think in today's world, ethics, morals, principles are really challenged, aren't they, for a whole heap of reasons. So I think it's going to test us. Like it does as on an individual level. We're tested around those things. So I think it will test us as a business, but what B Corp gives us is a real optimism as well about what the future can look like, about how businesses can look and how they can behave for good and for something more permanent and more sustainable. So I see it as a force for good, and I'm excited about it, and I think it will hold us true to what we say in our marketing and in our sales literature and so on and so forth, which can only be a good thing when times are testing.